For years, he was one of the most talked about actors in Turkey, but not because of his roles, rather for scandals, public relations, and rumors. What happened to that young man who once made half the world dream? Today, Can Yaman is fighting not only against the industry, but also against his own image. His perfect physique, his muscles, his flawless hair became his signature, but also his prison. Because acting is not about showing off the body, but about conveying emotion. If he truly wants a change, he needs to stop. Stop chasing fame and start seeking depth. Train again, go to therapy, build a new self from the inside. That would be his true rebirth. In Turkey, many are waiting for a sign. No need for grand statements, just an honest sentence. Yes, I made mistakes, but I want to get better, because the Turkish public knows how to forgive when there's sincerity. But for that to happen, Can needs to break the silence and reconnect with people, not the media. Another big mistake was allowing his image to be associated only with parties, girlfriends, gyms, and not with memorable characters. Today, he's more of a media figure than an actor. If he wants to change that, he must choose brave roles. A man with trauma, a silent father figure, even someone with a disability. Roles that force him to really act. That's where he can show what he truly has inside. And no, it's not the audience's or the industry's fault. Turkey gave him everything. He's the one who failed to uphold that trust. Now is the time for Ken to ask himself, where did I go wrong? Because only by facing his own mistakes can he rebuild himself. Time waits for no one. New faces, new stories are already gaining ground. Young, committed, disciplined actors. Ken needs to reclaim his place, not with glamour, but with truth. A short, intense series on a digital platform, far from media noise, could be the perfect chance. Today, no one talks about his series, only about brands, ads, and poses. And that has broken the bond with his audience. To many, Ken looks more like a display than a storyteller. And the public grows tired of idols who don't speak. They don't want a star, they want a human being. Can he come back? Yes, but only if he abandons arrogance, is honest with himself and presents himself as someone who wants to start again. Because being famous is easy. Staying human, that is the hard part. And that is what people truly value. I have been following Demet Özdemir's journey for quite some time now, and the more I observe her, the more I'm convinced she is a woman who has chosen silence as her shield. While many talk, invent, or point fingers, she remains strong, elegant, and focused on her path. In a world where everything is displayed and exaggerated, she has managed to protect her space, moving forward without shouting or overexposing herself. The world discovered her alongside Can Yaman in Daydreamer, a story that marked a generation and sparked admiration for both. But unlike many, Demet never used that relationship as a springboard. She didn't seek the spotlight through scandals or controversial statements. On the contrary, she remained respectful and private, never playing the gossip game or responding to those trying to tie her to her past. Demet represents a kind of artist who doesn't need to grab attention to shine. She works consistently, chooses meaningful projects, and gives them her full commitment. Every role she plays is infused with her energy and sensitivity. This proves her career isn't a fluke, but the result of years of effort and conscious choices. I've often seen people reduce her achievements to her looks or luck, but those of us who followed her for a long time know her path has been full of effort, perseverance, and incredible inner strength. She's endured tough moments, faced criticism, and gone through personal struggles. But she never lost focus. Not even when the press tried to label her as Can Yaman's ex, as if her identity depended on that past. Some people describe her as distant, as if protecting her private life were a flaw. But to me, it's quite the opposite. It shows emotional intelligence and maturity. Demet understood that there's nothing to gain from reacting to every provocation, and that true strength lies in staying true to oneself. In a world that rewards noise, she chooses balance. And still, she hasn't lost her humanity. Just watch her interact with fans, in interviews or in everyday gestures. It's clear she remains approachable, sincere, and authentic. Fame hasn't distorted her. Her gaze is still clear, her smile honest, her words thoughtful. That's why it bothers me that people still link her worth to her past with Can. It's time to understand they are different people with separate paths. What they shared was beautiful, yes, but Demet is much more than that. She is a woman who has evolved without clinging to the past, an artist who moves forward with confidence without losing her essence. Today, while others cling to nostalgia, she continues to build her present. And that, in my view, makes her even greater. She doesn't need noise to leave a mark. Every choice she makes, every project she embraces, every silence she keeps speaks for her. Demet Özdemir has shown who she is through her actions and continues to affirm it with each new chapter in her journey.